I realized something was wrong the moment the door closed behind me and the house went quiet in that heavy, watchful way that only family homes have. The smell of roasted spices hung in the air, warm and comforting, yet my chest tightened as if I had just stepped into a trap dressed up like kindness. I had come here thinking it was a harmless dinner, a polite obligation after a long week at work, never imagining that one sentence would turn my ordinary life upside down and force me to confront who I was, what I feared, and what love could look like when it arrived uninvited. Before the story goes any further, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the unexpected ways life can surprise us, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel The Kindness Chronicles. Your support keeps these stories alive and reaching hearts that need them. I was not the kind of person who expected miracles. I lived quietly, paycheck to paycheck, doing my job well and keeping my head down. My boss, successful and composed, existed in a different world from mine. She carried herself with confidence, wore responsibility like a tailored jacket, and spoke with certainty even when the room was full of louder voices. To me, she was simply my boss, the person who signed my leave requests and corrected my reports with red ink and sharp focus. There was respect, yes, but also a clear boundary, one I never imagined crossing. When she invited me to dinner, it sounded harmless. She framed it as a thank you, a small gesture of appreciation after a brutal project deadline. I told myself it was professional, that I was overthinking the strange knot in my stomach. I ironed my only good shirt, rehearsed polite conversation in my head, and reminded myself to keep my posture straight and my words careful. I did not know that the evening would ask far more of me than manners. The house was beautiful in a quiet, lived-in way, filled with framed photographs and soft lighting that suggested years of shared meals and shared stories. Her parents greeted me warmly, their smiles wide and searching, as if they were already looking for something in my face. I felt suddenly aware of my shoes, my accent, my background, all the things I usually carried without thinking. I tried to stay calm, to breathe, to remember that I was just a guest. Then it happened. With the ease of someone stating an obvious fact, my boss introduced me as her boyfriend. The word landed like a dropped plate, shattering everything I thought I understood about the evening. Time stretched thin, and for a moment I felt myself floating outside my body, watching a version of me nod politely while my mind raced in panic. I wanted to correct her, to laugh it off, to escape to the bathroom and never come back. Instead, I stayed silent, trapped by shock, politeness, and the strange way her eyes pleaded with me without ever looking directly at me. Dinner unfolded in slow motion. Her parents asked gentle questions, curious but kind, clearly relieved and excited. They spoke of family, of expectations, of the relief that comes when you think your child is finally settled and safe. Every word added weight to the lie, and with each passing minute, my guilt grew heavier. I was not just pretending for her sake, I was deceiving two people who had done nothing but welcome me into their home. Inside, I was battling myself. Part of me felt used, dragged into a story I had not agreed to tell. Another part of me saw the tension beneath my boss's calm exterior, the way her shoulders stiffened whenever her parents mentioned marriage, the way her smile faltered for a fraction of a second. I began to understand that this lie was not casual. It was a shield. As the evening continued, memories of my own life surfaced uninvited. I remembered family dinners filled with unspoken expectations, the pressure to become someone acceptable, someone successful, someone worthy. I remembered how easily love can turn conditional when dreams do not align. Sitting there, pretending to be something I was not, I realized I was standing inside her fear, wearing it like a borrowed coat. After dinner, when the house grew quieter and her parents retreated, the weight of the situation finally cracked something open inside me. I was angry, confused, but also deeply aware that I had been trusted, even if unfairly. She explained without excuses, her words heavy with exhaustion. Years of pressure, endless comparisons, the fear of disappointing the people she loved most had driven her to this desperate act. She had not planned for it to hurt me. She had simply panicked. The days that followed were some of the most uncomfortable of my life. At work, everything felt different. The familiar office walls now held secrets, and every interaction carried an unspoken question. People noticed the change, the subtle tension, the way we avoided each other's eyes. I considered quitting, walking away from the mess entirely. It would have been easier to disappear than to sit with the confusion growing inside me. But something unexpected happened. Instead of pulling away completely, she began to change. She apologized not once, but repeatedly, not with dramatic gestures, but with consistent humility. She gave me space, respected my boundaries, and, for the first time, allowed herself to be vulnerable without hiding behind authority or success. I saw her not as my boss, not as the woman who had lied, but as someone deeply human, shaped by fear and longing just like me. Slowly, against my better judgment, I found myself staying. We talked, not as boss and employee, but as two people trying to understand the mess we were standing in. I learned about her childhood, the expectations that had followed her into adulthood like a shadow. She learned about my struggles, the quiet pride I carried in surviving without applause. In those conversations, something shifted. The lie that had begun the whole story started to lose its power, replaced by something fragile and honest. The real challenge was not convincing her parents or maintaining appearances. The real challenge was deciding whether forgiveness could exist without forgetting, whether trust could grow in soil that had once held deception. I wrestled with my pride, my fear of being seen as convenient rather than chosen. I questioned whether I was filling a role or becoming part of a story that mattered. Change did not arrive all at once. It came in small moments. In shared laughter after long workdays. In quiet support when stress threatened to pull us apart. In the courage it took for her to finally tell her parents the truth, risking disappointment rather than living inside a lie. Watching her stand in that honesty, voice shaking but steady, I felt something inside me settle. Respect replaced resentment. By the time I realized how deeply I cared, it was already too late to pretend otherwise. What began as an uncomfortable favor had turned into a journey of growth for both of us. She learned that love cannot be manufactured to meet expectations. I learned that sometimes, being pulled into chaos can reveal parts of yourself you did not know were waiting. The night she asked me, truly asked me, not as a cover story but as a man she wanted beside her, the world felt quieter, as if it was holding its breath. There was no drama, no grand speech, just sincerity. And in that moment, I understood that the most powerful relationships are not born from perfection, but from the courage to face mistakes and choose better. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that kindness can grow in unexpected places and that second chances can lead to real transformation, please like this video, share it with someone who believes in growth, and subscribe to the Kindness Chronicles. Your engagement helps these stories reach others who need a reminder that humanity is still beautiful. Before we end, I have a special request. Please comment below and tell us what this story made you feel, or share a moment in your own life where an unexpected situation changed you for the better. Your words might be the encouragement someone else needs.